Rivalries worldwide dream of the notoriety of Lipa FC from Manchester to Barcelona and beyond. Louisville and Indy ready to meet up. Lynn Family Stadium playing host. Tonight's telecast is presented by Baptist Health as this creature waddles in looking to see either Indy's first result of the year or Louisville's best start in franchise history. Mike Watson, Devin Kerr, glad to have you aboard for the call. Devin, let's talk about the history of this rivalry. Lip FC, synonymous with the best rivalry in the league?
No, it is the best rivalry in the league, at least within these two respective clubs. And why shouldn't it be? The all-time series, though, goes to Louisville. It has not been very kind to Indy 11. In fact, up until 2021, they had actually gone 10 games winless. That's home, that's away, that's not a good thing. They changed it since coming into the league. They went a win and a draw, won the season series for the first time since ever. It's never happened since 2018. Louisville City's going to take notice, and they're going to be a little annoyed by that situation. So you're going to need some sort of spark. That spark is going to come from Wilson Harris. Cameron Lancaster has gone down in the past. He goes down at the beginning of this season, and it's always going to be a worry. Where are the goals going to come from? What are we going to do for an attack? Wilson Harris has calmed those nerves, and he did it quickly. 3 appearances, 2 goals, 1 assist. Brilliant at the 9 spot.
Those kind of numbers in the free kick he scored against New York are why he's tonight's Commonwealth Credit Union profile. So Harris comes in from Kansas City, shores up the striking core. For Indy 11, they bring in this dude, Mark Lowry at El Paso. Wasn't always great at the start of the year, but they always seem to finish near the top.
You hear it all too often, Mike, but please take respect if you're an Indy 11 fan. It's a process. It is going to take time. More than a game, more than a week, more than a month, especially with the injuries and the international duty that they're dealing with. You notice the starts at El Paso Locomotive. You see the finishes. 19 and 20, they were Western Conference finalists. And by the way, in 19, 8 unbeaten. 2020, 13 unbeaten. This will turn around, and it's going to get a lot better real fast.
All right, let's get it on. Louisville City and Indy 11 set to meet in Kentucky. Lineups kick off when we return to the Louisville-Indianapolis Proximity Association football contest.
Keep going. Keep working. Keep climbing. And always keep playing. With the unmatched orthopedic care at Baptist Health. With a best-in-class team, along with services and procedures you won't find anywhere else in the region. It's no wonder most people choose us to help them keep moving and doing the things that move them. Find a Baptist Health provider today.
Commonwealth Credit Union is growing and hiring. If you have a passion to help others, come check us out. Our mission is to better lives in the communities we serve through financial products and services, leading-edge technology, and a commitment to treat every person with respect. If you'd like to join our team, visit our website to learn more about our extraordinary culture, pay, benefits, and the many more reasons we are voted a best place to work in Kentucky. Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
LAPD!
It's Fox Monday to the rescue.
We have to move fast.
The heroes you love are back together on one incredible night.
Going in.
First, it's 911.
Gotta find Maddie. She needs to know that this wasn't her fault.
Then 911 Lone Star.
The guy is a straight-up murderer.
Clearly somebody who has a beef with me. He's dangerous, and he's out there.
It's Fox Monday to the rescue with 911, then 911 Lone Star, Monday on Fox or watch anytime.
Louisville is proud. The #1 way that I would describe Louisville is unique and unexpected. People here in Louisville are innovative and they think outside the box. Louisvillians are strong, we're resilient.
Every now and then I hear.
There is a culture and there is a vibe and there's something about Louisville that makes us different and makes us a really amazing place to live and work and to visit.
Did you know Toyota actually spends $1 million every hour of every day on R&D?
It's all part of an even larger $30 billion investment to design and build vehicles in the USA.
Made in America means something to Toyota, like 176,000 jobs and over 30 million Toyotas built right here in the USA.
And for over 20 years, Toyota's electrified vehicles have been leading the way.
Let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups presented by Hometown Craft House.
Maybe surprised if you're a home fan, but shouldn't be at the 6th spot. Ian Soler comes in 14% of his professional appearances actually came at the 6th spot, even though he's a center back by trade. Wes Sharpie joined Sean Tosh on the back line. Ownby and Gonzalez reassumed their roles on the front line with Wilson Harris. Indy 11 and Mark Lowry, injuries, international rotation. So you're going to see a ton of changes as well. The left foot of A.J. Cochran will help distribution on the back line. Sam Brown will slide into the 6. Watch Justin Ingram in the 10 and the relationship that he can create with Nicky Law and Jonas Feldberg. Feldberg likes to rotate all over the pitch. Aris Briggs and Pino, they got to find a way to stick balls in the back of the net against this stout defense. They've struggled at the start of 2022.
The Louisville-Indianapolis Proximity Association football contest is underway. First meeting this year between Louisville City and Indy 11. Glad to have you aboard for this one. Louisville in purple move left to right. And an early ball down into the wing for Perez, and an early foul as well. Louisville 3-0-0, Devin. 3 shutouts. They go on the road midweek, get a result against Red Bull 2. This is about as good as it's ever been to start a year for Louisville City.
Best start was actually 2018. Mike, they went 4-0, 6 unbeaten, 5-0-1 through their first 6 matches. Not bad whatsoever. Only conceded 3 with 10 goals for in that same time frame. So really similar looks metrically as to what went on in that title-winning season of 2018. Of course, their second star they would put above the crest. Defensively, a lot better. Goalie, Kyle Morton, fantastic. And of course, the front line looks well-versed at this point in time. But midweek games, Open Cup, and competition will continue to rise and then remain stiff. How long can it last?
This is Elliot Panico, 25-year-old native of New York and a first-round pick in Nashville 2 years ago. So wrong side Ingram. Nicky Law, one of the holdovers for Indy 11. They're without Iose due to injury in this game. Raul Aguilera is out due to the red card he picked up last time out against Tampa Bay on the road. And let's say this, Devin, compared to the game in Tampa, Indy's already off to a better start because Juan Tejada scored in the first minute of that game, which puts everything in flux.
It's got to be very frustrating right now if you're an Indy 11 fan because of the slow start for sure. We talked in the open mic that it is going to be a process, but insult to injury are the injuries and all of the rotation. He doesn't have his preferred 11, nor even like 16 of what he normally would.
Perez, soak that in. Out for a throw. Without doubt, you could say that even compared to Mark Lowry taking over an expansion team with no track record, it's been much tougher so far in Indy, just not having a full regular 18 of professional players available week to week. All the injuries they've sustained. This is Soler in midfield. Start number 1 for Louisville. Overcooked that pass. Fans out in force tonight as the sun has come out. Sent forward by Brown. And further down the line, collision play will come back. It is a Indy foul. I think Soler's making friends over there. He and Pino going out for drinks later. A Commonwealth Credit Union has been bettering lives in the communities they serve since 1951. To learn more, visit WeSeeYouDifferently.com. Sharpie. Another whistle. Ingram this time. Here's Mark Lowry. time with the Jacksonville Armada, moved to El Paso, and took that team to the conference final. Never quite got over the hump after those two first successful campaigns. Last year, that home record was about as stunning as Indy's was 2 years ago, where you're talking well over a calendar year without a loss. It all came crumbling down in the postseason. Mark Lowry makes the move to Indianapolis. Gonzalez making the front run. Ball through for Ownby, sliced out by Indy.
A little surprised that, given the circumstances, that they have decided to move into a 3 for Louisville City. Ian Solar sliding just to the left shoulder of Wes Sharpie, who basically becomes your out-and-out left back, center back. Sean Tosh rounding that out with Dia and Manny Perez into the 5 overall defensively as they'll stack it up. Let's see how much that changes against this diamond of Indy 11 and what they've done so far. Again, it hasn't been super impressive. It is going to take some time. One of the great things that you do get with Ian Solar and Sean Tosh on the back line with you, Mike, is they're both well accustomed to moving into that midfield spot. Tosh at the 6, Solar at the 6, as we talked about coming into the match. Both more than happy to provide that pressure relief if need be to step up in.
Were you surprised to see Winder to the bench for this game? Tosh and Sharpie paired together for the first full game this year for Danny Cruz?
If you decide to make the decision that Danny Cruz has made, no. Because this gives him flexibility, right? Because you've got 2 players out of the 3 on the back line that allow you to still add another one into the midfield and remain within the midfield if you want to change to a 4. Josh Winder doesn't give you that ability. As good as he's been at the start of the year, he can step up in and distribute. He's not going to regularly challenge those spaces, and if they want to make a formational change, you can't use him in that role. So I understand for that from a decision-making standpoint.
Gonzalez is going to catch up to this. Bone. Hanako. Well, success and a midweek game, Devin, surely provides a lot of difficult problems for Danny Cruz. They're good problems to have, but everyone wants to get their rhythm at the beginning of a season. You've got 3 clean sheets to start the year, largely workmanlike performances, few flaws. So you got to deal with the idea of you should be rotating to some extent. You also don't want to change what's working.
No, they've also been working on a regular 3-back look for quite some time. We usually saw it at the end of the 21 season to shore up games. You bring on an extra defender. Lexi Swahi could add his name in there and look to shut it down. But this is something Danny Cruz has regularly talked about, just hasn't been able to fully commit to.
Briggs teeing up Ingram. To the backside, header will head into Scouse's home. And a collision of heads. We'll have the referee whistling for the athletic trainers.
Just getting tangled up on the backside. Justin Ingram, great ball, floated back over. Nice little peel off. Pino wide open at the top of the 6. Good challenges. Dia was closing down in, and just a meeting of the minds, unfortunately. Not the one you're normally looking for. There's your manager, Mark Lowry. Pretty happy with the start so far. Slow and steady wins the race under Mark Lowry. Took time at El Paso Locomotive. Same thing with Jacksonville Armada.
apologize for our technical difficulties there. It's Indy 11 in the final third. That header away. Both players back up. Good news from the previous collision. Scoreless 10 minutes in Louisville in the vaunted Louisville-Indianapolis Proximity Association football contest. Sam Brown. Timmer. Perez nods this away. Law will pursue. Karam's off of Law. This portion of tonight's game brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Driven out by Morton, who's had a dream start since entering the club. So referee thought about it. He gives the foul. You used to have hair like that, right, Dev Briggs?
Not the high shave underneath. That's aggressive, and I respect it too. I had more of the slowly fade into existence on the side. The elongated locks of love. Donated, I might add.
Oh. Out to Tosh. I'm gonna be the one who need the locks.
Yeah, don't ever question the compassion.
Bone. Bouncing, came off Ownby. Wilson, ricochet. Picked up by Panico.
Not the best look on the backside with the tackle from Jonas Feldberg coming through. Great recognition from the midfielders. Step back in and help out defensively as Wilson Harris springs feet. Look right at the top of the 18. Ball comes out. Just gets right in front of it. Both deflect off of each other. And that left foot looks to be caught up for Wilson Harris. Entire coaching staff on the sideline holding their breath right now.
Harris hops back up. Couple updates elsewhere in the league. Hartford over Tampa Bay. Quarter hour in. Joel Johnson scores in the 6th minute in his new home. Pittsburgh and Detroit played to a 1-1 draw earlier today. Maxi Rodriguez, a penalty to overcome the 18th minute goal from Albert Dequa. And New Mexico, Harry Swartz has grabbed the lead against the reigning league champion Orange County. There are some weeks where we look at the schedule and go, oh, is there a best match? Not this week. An embarrassment of riches. Scooped over for Timmer. Came off a Tosh, picked up by Morton. Birmingham and Colorado Springs play today as well. And we may find out a lot about Loudoun playing Miami.
That's going to be a fun one. Although Miami, much like Indy, is another team that's pretty banged up.
Yep.
And they just lost Speedy Williams and Lamar Walker, international duty with the Reggae Boys. There's a couple of teams that are struggling with that. Not really going to find out with respect to Indy nor Miami what they're truly made of till late May, early June. The measuring stick may be 8, 10, 12 games for most coaches, but when you don't have full squad selection, it's very difficult to find out exactly what the pen has put to paper.
Rebellon, who came over from El Paso, finds Law. Pulled back by Ingram. Floated forward. Sharpie wasn't able to get a piece of that, and Fjellberg watches that bounce up to Morton. Appears Louisville had that under control. Timmer short-armed that. Solar. Indy nearly had numbers. It just got away from Fjellberg, who's at RGV on loan last year. Part of that RGV team that raised a couple of eyebrows in the postseason, if I do say so myself. At least my eyebrows.
Well, they've been picked apart a little bit, right?
Wilmer Cabrera starts from scratch.
It's the merry-go-round, isn't it? I do like the rotation on the inside so far from Indy 11. Done very well for themselves, especially with the movement that we're seeing out of Justin Ingram and Jonas Fjellberg. Willing to take some chances, but good coverage. Nicky Law is staying primarily on the left, but Sam Brown, Ingram, and Fjellberg all in cahoots together. Great job done centrally. Not allowing any of those line-breaking passes to come through.
Well, there, Harris breaks through. Harris! Wide of Panico. Didn't have a lot of support once that ball squeaked through and let fly off target.
Couple of questions coming into the season as to whether or not Wilson Harris could slow the game down and play within a system that at times can be very tiki-taka. But this is why you go get him. His bread and butter is that one-on-one, run-at-you type play. Chasing down a back line, challenging them in isolated situations. We saw it so many times with the Sporting Kansas City organization.
Throw to come for Perez. Header speared back.
Beautiful. You wonder.
What is this, volleyball?
Mark Lowry regularly talks about the IQ of Meshach Jerome and how smart he is on and off the ball, and that's a really good look at it because as a center back, that's a dangerous play, but he understands he's got plenty of space behind him, times it perfectly. More often than not, that goes wrong than right.
Part of why Jerome has been around the Haitian national team for about a decade and a half now. Masoso trying to gum up the works. And Solar goes in. Referee quickly gestures the other way. Fifth, third free kick to come. A pseudo-dangerous area for Indy 11. It's Nicky Law standing over the ball. He's won the Scottish Championship and League One. Law. Header down, appeal for a handball as that skimmed up on Omby. Bounces all the way through. This will get out. Devin, trivia time. It's a Lip FC trivia question. Tonight's trivia brought to you by Tony's Break in Alignment. Who's the public address announcer? That's 127. Lip FC 127, of course. 1983.
Well, with all due respect to our good friend Lance McGarvey, I feel like the other two would be the choice at that point in time, given their height of greatness. Big James Earl Jones fan. Loretta Lynn, though, I don't know. There's something about her, right?
Top-notch country singer, no doubt about that.
If you
Kentucky's own.
If you build it, they'll come. Big change for me here is going to be the move on the back line where Jared Timmer has come to the left back spot with Rebellon over to the right. It's not a massive change overall because they do have experience. However, Timmer primarily located at the outside right back spot, and in the recent performances by Indy 11, Rebellon had been at left back, at least of choice, which is obviously not the #1 overall. Saw him a lot at right back for El Paso Locomotive when needed. That was one of those to the rich go the spoils for Mark Lowry, right? Talked about the process, the ability to take a player like Brian Rebellon, left side of the midfield, right side of the midfield, put him in the 10, and then all of a sudden he's playing outside back. Beautiful.
Rough place to give up the ball there. It's taken back by Louisville for a short time. Now Law. Law cuts, header in! The opening goal belongs to Pino. And Indy 11 has gone on the road and taken the air out of Lynn Family Stadium with their first goal of the season.
Just talked about how good the rotation has been for Indy 11 and this midfield three. Law, Ingram, and Fjellberg. Watch all of them. Good challenge on the right-hand side by Fjellberg. Not the greatest ball play in, but look at the line of confrontation. They've come very high, which allows them to have multiple options if and when it does break down. Nicky Law, steady Eddie on the back post. Ball comes all the way back out. Sam Brown finds him. Quick touch and already head on a swivel. Where are my options? Where's my late delaying run? Gets Corbin Bone to balk at it a little bit. He bites. Beautiful ball whipped in, and the Brazilian gives them the early lead.
First goal of the year for Indy. First time Louisville has conceded this year. It ends 292 minutes to start the year without allowing a goal. And with it for the first time in 9 games, Louisville concedes the opening goal. And a lot of credit on that back post from Pino, one would imagine, holding right on that shoulder of Sharpie on the picturesque service from Nicky Law. And Indy 11 with a shock to the Louisville system. Well, for the first time, Devin, Louisville hadn't really had to take much of a punch yet this year. Well, now they have.
Yeah, what's the response going to be?
If you're Indy, this could be a lot of wind in your sails after a couple of disappointing performances at Tampa Bay and at Loudoun to start the year.
Remember, as we started to close out in 21, it was more like, okay, not only stop conceding, but what's the response going to be when we do? Because a lot of times, the talking point within the locker room was there wasn't a quick enough response. They needed that to get better in order to be successful. They had that come playoff time. First real issue this season for Lou City. Got to dig in here and quickly get back to it. There's a shout for a yellow card from the sideline. Referee's letting them play a little bit. There's a distance here, though. Meshach Jerome could if he wanted to. He's hit him from further, I promise you that much. But more likely, look at all the space that they have. I mean, this is, let's have a little fun. See if you can get a dummy going, roll it over the right shoulder, and then allow him to run into it. If not, the left footer, the right footer, pick your poison, really.
Law, Ingram. A kick out. Shout from the bench for a foul from Masoso. Didn't stick, and now Ownby. All the way down the line, and kept in by Jerome. And Louisville gets a throw out of it. Down by Gonzalez. As far as Sharpie. Tosh. Perez. Solar. Harris. Ownby.
There's your change, by the way. Solar up into the midfield. Cruz not happy with the performance so far. That's the flexibility I talked about. Real easy to pull him off the back line, throw him into the 6, and then everything's back to normal. Wouldn't say that the experiment failed, just didn't gel as quickly as they'd like it to, and going down 1-0, you got to find a way to gain a bit of momentum here.
On the run, Law. Back to Timmer. Indy gets the goal in the 22nd minute. Stefano Pino, twice NASL's most valuable player and Golden Boot winner in 2015 again in 2017. To Indy fans, surely they knew his work well. All that work was done down in Florida, Fort Lauderdale and Miami.
To your point, Mike, check the run by Pino here, because you hit the nail on the head. Watch him. Right here, he's going to start the run and then stops. Has to come back into an offside position, retime his run, bend it perfectly because he's got Wes Sharpie there. The ball's going to be threaded through. He's got to make sure he's got enough space between himself, the center back, and Amadou Dia, and yet still, given all of that with the pace, the English whipped in, he's able to hit the back of the net.
Fjellberg rolling forward. Can Indy get into the attack? No. Taken on by Dia. In goes Solar to win it back. Perez. Ownby. Well, give and go. Solar finding Perez. Perez got by Law. Perez into the penalty area. Swiping at it, Gonzalez. A lot of work from Dia to win a free kick.
Magic Manny Perez at it. Jeez. I mean, let's get going here. The response from the home squad. Just one individual trying to throw the team on his back. Great work down in the corner. Nicky Law couldn't keep up. Quick feet. Not the greatest of balls played through, but beautifully timed. 1, 2, 3 coming back across. Little touch on the recovery by Nicky Law defensively. Good on him.
Fifth, third free kick to come for Louisville City. Prefer one or the other here, Bone Gonzalez?
It's who can be better in terms of quality. No one's going to go direct.
Gonzalez will be direct. Panico.
It's a bold ask from that distance.
It is.
Even if Meshach Jerome's standing over that ball from that distance and that angle, it's too much. If you come back to the center, I'm all for it. Two top quality goalkeepers on either side of the field right now. And Panico, as you know, was my personal choice for goalkeeper of the year last year.
Yes.
And that quick little slide over is, ooh.
Solar catching Fjellberg.
The natural rotation on the ball there is going to be across the body, bending back towards the near post, so it makes it easier for the goalkeeper. That's why I say if you're 25, 30 yards out, more towards the midfield, easier for the striker to have a better look at goal. Come back across. That's against the Lipa FC rule book. I wonder whose autographs are in the initial program.
That's a good question.
Saw Darth Vader shout online.
Yep. Look, I mean, the history, I mean, we're only 30 minutes into this game, but, you know, we're closing in on 300 years of this rivalry.
It predates any of our existence, of course. But those are the best, right? Can't make it up.
Nope. It would be impossible. Slide in, Ombi. Eric Tattersall's had a pretty busy whistle of late. Kept the cards in his pocket, however.
Watch the studs. Good challenge by Ingram. There's the argument. Gets a touch of the player. Yes, I get it. It catches you on the head, but the stud's up just at the tail end of it. It's one of the more frustrating tackles for a player because I'm with him. You feel like you've timed it right. You don't make a ton of contact. You do get the ball. It's the angle and the studs. Referee's got a good view at it. Can't blame him.
Can you sense the frustration?
It's much easier for you and I to sit here and pick that situation apart. If I'm on the bench or I'm a player, I'm just as upset, even though it is the right decision.
Harris sweeping backward. Ombi, Panico knows better. He's going to drop back. Ombi pulls this back, wrong-sided, and now Masoso. That's supposed to be a safe standing supporters section. And when Masoso's letting it go.
Watch the defensive effort right on the tail end of this that obstructs the ability for Napo Masoso to follow through on this ball as it deflects out to the 18. The slide back across, the pressure. He feels it coming. Drifting away from him, trying to get this thing to dip left across his body, but he's already traveling in the wrong direction.
Tosh. Briggs leading the charge for Indy 11. Pino out to Law. Law's service, Karam's out to Bone. That deflection really kind. Fjellberg sees part. Fjellberg! What a save, Morton, to push that off the woodwork. Indy 11 look completely rejuvenated. Two difficult defeats at the beginning of the Mark Lowry era. If you look at his first couple of years in El Paso, that shouldn't have caused any panic. Ball did sneak through. Touched off Briggs, and Morton will collect.
This all starts with the intermittent press continuing to be applied, and you can hear the shouts from the sideline. It was relentless. Picks it up, Fjellberg. Watch this. This is the greatness of the diamond. As Ingram slides over, it allows space for Fjellberg to open up. Tucks himself back in, and what a save by Kyle Morton. That's why you go get him.
And all the while, a yellow card comes out for Indy 11. Timmer. Now we're starting to feel like a rivalry game.
I look to be in from behind. It's the beautiful view you're going to get here. Yep. Jared Timmer just getting tangled up with Brian Omby. Little how do you do? Very nice of him. Neighborly almost, Mike. It's like they're not far away and
they're proximately close,
but contesting each other.
Indeed. The fact that the Hatfields were Indy 11 fans, but the McCoys were Louisville fans is one of the great unknown facts of this rivalry.
Who got the stills in the breakup?
Karam from Solar's effort lands with Ownby. Works in on Brown. Brown got a deflection to that. Risks the health of a cameraman in that effort. Corner to come, it's a Wi-Fi corner kick. Dia, there's the late run from Perez. Might end up looking for Dia again at this rate. There it is, but missed him. Baptist Health is the proud partner and exclusive provider of medical support and athletic training services to Louisville City FC and Racing Louisville. Visit baptisthealth.com/ortho to learn more. Picked up by Panico. Glad you mentioned how well he played last year in Austin when there was very little going right organizationally for them. That was a guarantee in the back, it felt, most every game.
It was awesome. I mean, he was called upon a ton. I mean, it's not just good saves. It's 5-6 top quality saves every single game. Remember that all of the moving pieces that went on there. Marcelo Serrano stepped more into a front office role. Ryan Thompson, quality goalkeeping background himself, so I've heard.
Yeah.
No, but he talked about having the ability to really help mold a young man who's highly regarded within the game in this country. There's a reason that Nashville, not only did they go get him to start, but kept him even though loaned out, because they believed that there was a possibility of him being the future.
Picked up by Bone. Ownby. Turn back, Masoso reverse. One wonders if Danny Cruz might be considering a change here sooner than later, the way some of the players have gotten up for Louisville City. And, you know, I thought it was interesting with the New York game. There are very few coaches will stand up and say, I got it wrong. And against New York, he felt there were times that his shout from the sideline, his effort to maneuver things, wasn't actually helping the cause. And by the time halftime came around, they felt like the conversation they had as a group made a significant impact.
Taking that sort of responsibility, though, when you're a player and your coach does that, you kind of look and go, okay, I can follow this guy, right? The understanding that you're not always going to be perfect is top class from Danny Cruz, and it hasn't gone perfect here in the first half here for Lou City. They've struggled with the press that has been here and there for Indy 11. Shape is off. Haven't exactly had enough pace. The balance lacking on that left-hand side, and a little bit of a limp here for Jorge Gonzalez as he waves Mushagalusa on, but it is going to give you the ability to have a bit more balance with the pace. But you can see he's not feeling good. Approaching that 40-minute mark, if there wasn't an issue and you were just upset about play, you would make this change at halftime. So something definitely wrong with Jorge Gonzalez, who made his move permanent at the start of 22.
The sub brought to you by MHS Global, above and beyond. And the spark plug, Matiti. Enoch Mushagalusa comes in off the bench. Bone had her speared over, and Gonzalez nearly beamed by that. Another corner to come.
This is going to spread out Indy 11 even more, though, and that's going to be something to be addressed at halftime for the visitors, because now it's Dia and Mushagalusa. It's Perez and Ownby, right? It's right and left, multiple options as you move into the flanks. That spreads the midfield out defensively for Indy 11. Flattening it out is something Danny Cruz talked about a lot in our call.
Dia, Panico. The Wi-Fi corner continues on the recycle ball. Ownby, Mushagalusa's first touch. Second touch as it may be. Mushagalusa falls. Dia! Get to the edge of your seat when Amadou Dia sees a lane.
Everybody in the stadium and us, Mike, thought this was in. I mean, bird's eye view right behind it. As it drops down in, this can't sit any better than it does for Amadou Dia. Head up, Mushagalusa. Just whip it in, see if someone can get onto it. The clearance right where it's supposed to be. Flick it away from the run of play. You don't step out quick enough. Good rotation on the ball. I mean, that's about a foot, Mike, from being beautiful.
They just showed that replay up on the scoreboard, and you heard an audible gasp from the crowd. Little collision. Now comes Law, the assist on the goal, scored in the 22nd minute by Stefano Pino. Time in Minnesota, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Orlando. Overseas in his native country of Brazil, Thailand, China, Saudi Arabia, Australia. Not a lot of stones unturned for Pino. Fjellberg dances, drives to the backside, nearly tapped home. Danger moment, Mark Lowry pulls back that luscious head of lettuce.
Get a little lucky that it comes all the way back through, but they'll take it any way they can get in Lipa FC. Beautiful ball to the near post. And at Ace Breaks, watch this sweet little flick. Here it comes, there it goes. Whether he's trying to put it on a target or not, who cares? The intent was there. About a foot on one side, you're inches away from doubling the lead before halftime on the other.
Butchertown, beautiful, a painted sunset here at Lynn Family Stadium. You can see the Indy fans opposite the near touch line in the upper deck. These sides have competed in the Eastern Conference Final, the Open Cup. Most everything there is to contest in the modern era, the area in which it's televised. There's been some high stakes games.
See the new food and drinks they've put out at Lynn Family? That tiki bar, still in search of. That's the preferred destination when wheels are down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hot brown, hot buttered rum. The frozen painkiller.
Is that what someone called it, or is that the real name?
No, that's the name of the drink, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, painkiller is normally what it's called, but apparently we've emulsified it and frozen it. I'm here for it. And yet still, the luscious bar that is underneath the jumbo at the other end. My goal is to get you a couple of those frozen painkillers and then put you on the futsal outside.
Oh, I thought you were going to say on air.
No. You had that written into your contract.
No, these teams had an extraordinary futsal 5v5 experience today. Heard Indy pulled out the dub. Is that the news?
The rumor running around town.
That was an inadvertent nutmeg of Sam Brown. And back to Jerome. Bouncing all the way back to Morton. This will get out and quickly put in by Dia. Well, one wonders if Danny Cruz made the Gonzalez change, bring on Mushagalusa. Paulo Del Piccolo is on 199 regular season appearances, comes off 90 minutes against Red Bull 2. Speaking of two, stoppage time presented by the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. 2 added minutes to this first half.
You come into a game like this, Mike, and you look at the defensive setup for Indy 11 and you wonder, okay, what do we have to remove? Now that answer could be extremely long, right? Because there's so many different options here for Lou City. But especially in the main setup, you look at Wilson Harris, Jorge Gonzalez, and Brian Ownby. You look at the amount of touches on the field in the first half. Kyle Morton, and then the next 3 out of 4 in terms of the least amount of touches, Gonzalez, Ownby, Harris. They've kept them off the ball. And when they've been on the ball, they're down deep in the corner or they're a long way from goal. Indy 11 has done a really good job of not allowing the most threatening attacking pieces from Lou City to get involved in this match.
5-5 corner to come. Ownby placed the ball down. You can see Paolo Del Piccolo, the captain, who's available off the bench tonight, sort of waving him off, saying, get your numbers up. Dia delivers. Ownby was the target. Comes out to Mushagalusa. Wasn't able to corral it, and Fjellberg is off to the races. All things are relative, however, when you're trying to outrun Enoch Mushagalusa. Dia picked up.
You would imagine that the conclusion here, wouldn't say that it's been great for Louisville over the past couple of minutes. Talk about not being on the ball that much. A lot more room to play here. Allowing themselves to get some of those pieces we just talked about, Mike, on the ball a lot more, and that'll continue into the second.
Perez nearly out the other side, Mushagalusa. But the offside flag had gone up.
You just have to find a way to stretch this team out and then move the ball quicker. So the flat shape that Danny Cruz talked about that Indy 11 can get themselves into at times will usually involve someone like Law, Fjellberg, and Brown, or Ingram, Fjellberg, and Brown. That's been the case over the past couple of minutes. What a wondrous effort put forth in the opening 45 minutes for the visitors, though. White jerseys reign supreme, got their goal, looked to lock it up, and great, efficient. Lou City stung coming out of the gate. But that's the talking point. Forward thinking, let's attack this come the second half.
Those are the fans celebrating at halftime. ServPro halftime is coming up as Indy 11 threw a 22nd minute goal from Stefano Pino lead the Louisville Indianapolis Proximity Association football contest through 45.
Keep going. Keep working. Keep climbing. And always keep playing. With the unmatched orthopedic care at Baptist Health. With a best-in-class team, along with services and procedures you won't find anywhere else in the region, it's no wonder most people choose us to help them keep moving and doing the things that move them. Find a Baptist Health provider today.
In this industry right now with fiber optics, it's taken over. I have to stay competitive, and to stay competitive, I have to have equipment. It's hard to do that, especially being a small business. I don't like the idea of going to multiple banks. It's a hassle. The way that credit union treated me, you know, right away I knew I was going to be able to do business here. Commonwealth Credit Union has shaped my business. I feel secure because of this credit union.
Louisville is inspiring. The people of Louisville are really what make this community whole. People here really appreciate nature and what it means to their life. They appreciate farming. They love to explore, love to hike. Louisville is so great because you get the best of both worlds. You get the city life. On the other hand, you get this beautiful escape to nature. And that's really what makes Louisville Louisville, because it's so unique and has something for everyone.
Two-time USL champions. Your city is our city. Louisville City FC. The best are obsessed. Chasing down another dream. Nothing but net. Watch Louisville City FC take on Birmingham Legion FC, April 2nd at 7:30 on WDRB. Presented by Commonwealth Credit Union. We see you differently.
At Kroger, you can get personalized coupons on top of weekly sales for prices that are lower than low on food that's fresher than fresh. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Kroger Delivery is always fresh because we check our produce at every stop on its journey to you. We're fresh every day, so shop any way. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Welcome back. Halftime here between Louisville City and Indy 11. I figured it was time that we took a travel back in time to our ode to SportsCenter and highlight reel known as The Dish. Let's get it going. Youthful exuberance has been the talking point for Louisville City. You bring the youngsters in, you clean the old ones out, right? Wrong. The old guard leads the challenge early on, but you run it back midweek game. You have rotation. You also have the first goal of the year from Ray Serrano starting on the front. They get 2. They win. They get 3 points. That's how it works, right? We'll go to Atlanta United too. Let's see if that same method works there for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. There's this guy, Leo Fernandez. Don't put it on his left. That's why Dos Santos knows. So do the Rowdies. 3 goals. 3 points, also known as 3-0 for our friends across the pond. A regional puddle jumper will take us to Tulsa versus San Diego Loyal. Traveling fans, we're loyal. FC Tulsa home fans, we're quality. This was a great game start to finish, but there's a bad, bad man. Rodrigo da Costa. Dario Suarez wants to play. Hand up. Look at me. Coach, I want to play. Goal. 1-0. FC Tulsa at the end. That's going to cost you. They move up in the Western Conference. 3 points for them. But as we continue to the west, following the sun, changing time zones, El Paso Locomotive, Las Vegas Lights. Rude, 9 goals in 37 minutes, including a red card and an absolute haymaker from Frank DeRoma. The game winner, Julian Gaines in the 73rd minute. They win 5-4. Las Vegas Lights are on a tear in the Western Conference. 2022 is crazy. RGV at Los Dos. So if we were at HEB Park, where the place where dreams go to die, this would be a different result. Instead, that's a handball. Can't do that even though it's close to the body. I didn't make the rules. They just said it. Preston Judd, you be the judge. He misses. Davila steps up. That's 1-0. That's 3 points. And that's all she wrote. Louisville, Indianapolis Proximity Association football contest. More of it. Team of the week. See you out there.
I'm on that routine. I'm on that routine.
I mean, yeah, let's talk about today we're gonna go topics.
Roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What? That's it! San Diego Demons!
Watch the money, and for a bog, crashing in, there it is! First of the year for San Diego!
And it's into the back of the net! El Paso!
Far corner and a 10! What a goal! Are you watching Football Americas?
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota.
Wow.
Perfect.
I think red is more me. Giddy up.
Now get 2.49 APR financing on an adventurous new 22 RAV4 or the electrified 40 MPG RAV4 Hybrid. Plus, you get 2 years no-cost maintenance.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome back. Blanket kind of weather here in Louisville, Kentucky. Halftime score brought to you by ServPro, the official cleanup and restoration partner of Louisville City FC. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr to walk you through the news, notes, and more from around the USL Championship and beyond. Championship in the Open Cup. It's back after a 2-year hiatus. Starts April 5th.
What a start it's been as well, right? Late nights, I'm here for it. Extra tea, goals galore. The set pieces have been ridiculous. Open Cup, but enter the Pro Boys. Here come Leagues 1. Here comes the championship. Here come problems. And how about our friend Sam Stockley, Lexington? I think they got it right. I think they did a very good job here.
He's an honest lad. Louisville will face Chattanooga Red Wolves from League 1. Indy 11 will face St. Louis City 2 of MLS Next Pro. All right, let's talk about the team of the week around the USL Championship presented by Konami's eFootball. Trejo, Las Vegas, they're good this year?
Apparently, and they're taking names while doing it against quality competition. Not just wins at home and away. Danny Trejo, once again, goal and assist. Why not? First they took down Phoenix Rising. Next thing you know, he's running for president of the championship. What do you know? Mitchell Tainer, by the way. Nice little conversation with the man who scored on the back line again for San Antonio FC. Sent me a video. They're on their way to HEB Park. It's the same thing over and over. It's on loop. They're in trouble. You go down to Edinburgh, that's a rough place to win.
It is. It's a very scenic drive, though, as we all know. Here's a look at the upcoming schedule. USL on ESPN Deportes. Jose and Jesus will have the call for San Diego, El Paso, our good buddies. And then you and I get back on ESPN2 for Unfinished Business Part 2.
You got a favorite out of those? It's hard. But do you have one specific game that you say, this is my important one? This is what I'm going for.
Yeah, it's Phoenix and Tampa Bay.
Okay. Okay. I've been in your shoes. Everybody else, all other 6 teams, you've now been vilified.
I'm willing to deal with that. There's a look in the stands as we approach the second half of play. What kind of changes are in store? Also show you the first half highlights, including Pino's goal in the 22nd. Halftime is presented by ServPro.
It all starts with a smile. To show you care, offer a sign of love, welcome someone home. Even when we don't see each other, or share a room, even without words, smiles bring us together. Let's keep yours healthy. Mortensen Family Dental. Schedule online at mortensondental.com.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota.
Wow.
Perfect.
I think red is more me. Giddy up.
Get 2.49 APR financing on the new aggressively styled 2022 Highlander or the electrified Highlander Hybrid that'll take you 580 miles on a tank of gas.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
At U of L Health Urgent Care Plus, the plus makes all the difference. You get convenient, world-renowned care that's backed by a network of academic expertise, less wait time, plus more advanced technology. Compassionate care plus no appointment necessary. It all adds up to a smart choice for the best care close by. So don't put your health on hold. That's the power of you.
When fire and water threaten your home, hand the cleanup over to the team that stays with you every step of the way in your journey back. 1-800-SERVPRO and ServPro.com. Like it never even happened.
Welcome back. Eyelash Lights up and down the Lynn Family Stadium facade. Serve Pro halftime rolls on. Indy 11-1, Louisville City 0 at the break. Mike and Devin to take you through first half highlights. We're going to start in the 16th minute of play. Louisville, handful of mistakes out of the back. In this instance, they fling it forward, and Harris tried to do it himself.
Really the first time they got running downhill, and they always wanted to get combination play into Wilson Harris. Similar to what you get out of Cameron Lancaster, right? He can drop down into the pocket, play off of him, allow the wing play to get going, and this time you go direct up over the top. They challenged the back line of Indy 11, kept them honest, but what I was most impressed about in the first half for Indy 11 was the shape changing that was constant in the midfield and the willingness to press when need be. Now, the latter portion of that comment is what you really want to focus on here. They didn't do it as a constant. They pressed here and there. This one is going to end up in the back of the net. They play a high line, everybody resets. The first bite of the apple, no good. But there's a patience about this team. That's what you get under Mark Lowry. Multiple options. Good cutback by Nicky Law. Whipped in beautifully on the left foot. Pino sticks it into the back of the net for his first of the season. And they're off and running 1-0 Indy 11.
Mark Lowry, you can tell what it means. First effort in Lipa FC for him as the manager at Indy 11. Omby put under so much pressure. Law helps to force the turnover. And in goes Jonas Fjellberg.
This is what you get, Mike, as well. And understand the great save from Kyle Morton. I give him credit there. Not only is that the first goal from Pino, that's the first goal of the season for Indy 11. They've been blanked on their opening couple of matches. That's a confidence builder. That's what you get as you head into the dressing room. That's the conversation coming out of halftime. We're winning, but we have to continue to apply the pressure.
And these are the halftime stats brought to you by River City Flooring.
If I had to bet on two managers in the entire league, at least two in the top 5, about how this game is going to go in the second half, expect it to be more of the same in terms of shots and shots on target. Very efficient in and around the top of the 18. Possession battle is going to remain the same, but tactically, this is going to change. It's going to be a shapeshifter. You're going to see constant challenges. Changes will have to be made, and we know for sure at least one change is coming with their captain, Paolo Del Piccolo, stepping on. 200th regular season appearance in USL Championship history. Only the 12th man to do it.
He'll replace Solar in midfield. And we'll see if the Sheriff, Paolo Del Piccolo, can turn this around. Indy 1, Louisville 0, entering the second half of play at Lynn Family Stadium. Glad you're with us on this seasonably cool night in Kentucky. The sub at halftime brought to you by MHS Global, above and beyond. Indy scoring through Pino in the 22nd minute. First goal scored by Indy, club that's missed the playoffs the last 2 years. And they're approaching a 6-game April that could certainly be their undoing if they don't start picking up results. It'd be none bigger than grabbing their first points the season here in Louisville. Over to Tosh. Able to float that down the far touchline now to Omby. Masoso rotating into the pocket in midfield. Bia on the opposite side. Musha Galusa. Fjellberg. Devin, what has Mark Lowry done here that's made Louisville more uncomfortable than at any point in the first 3 games?
The first part is, and I know we've talked about it a few times, but you have to respect it because it's where the success has come from, has been the real movement we've seen out of Fjellberg and Justin Ingram. The first 2 games, especially in the first match, they struggled changing within the diamond system. They had a focal point that was up top almost the entire time, and that was what it was. The process that we reference for Indy 11 is the ability to be chameleonic within that midfield. So now you see Ingram in the 10, Fjellberg in the 10. Nicky Law can come back to the inside.
Mushigalusa.
Would also say that even though Nicky Law can come to the inside, he hasn't done that a ton. He's actually pushed a higher line on the left, and that has been more of a frequency as the time has gone on here under Mark Lowry. It's 3 games. It's a small sample size. But those tendencies build chemistry, and that's what you're getting out of the visitors.
Bones corner skied out of the penalty area. Masoso moved his arm as to not seat it back, but Dia puts it out over the line.
Let's also add in the fact that Sam Brown, who hasn't gotten the starting nod yet whatsoever, as you've had a different number 6, right? The entire time, they've had Neville Hackshaw, who in previous years was deployed as an outside back within the 3-back system. He played in a similar spot for Mike Anhauser at the Charleston Battery, but his time here in the United States actually started as a holding midfielder. They played him in the 6th spot, sometimes 2 within the system at Charleston. So that change has allowed Sam Brown, since Hackshaw is away on international duty, to step in, and he's been very good. Held shape on the inside when it has broken down. He hasn't panicked. And that's also allowed the 2 center backs behind to make sure that they have the ability to distribute cleanly and frequently to the boys up top.
Sharpie back into Bone. And Louisville has bypassed the trap. Dia splays it into midfield. Law circles over, but Dia being knocked down enough to get the Tattersall whistle. Sharpie. Back to Tosh. Baptist Health Louisville provides nationally recognized orthopedic care locally. Learn more about their high-performing hospital ranking in knee replacement from U.S. News and World Report. BaptistHealth.com/ortho. Another whistle comes. It's Brown this time. Wilson. A lot of talk in the Louisville community this week after the free kick he scored against New York Red Bulls too. Can they create an appropriate tifo for Wilson? Ball across, finds Dia after a wave from Panico. Dia the reserve. Dev, there's only one true tifo for a player named Wilson.
I feel like that could go a couple different ways, to be fair.
Mushagalusa trying to dispossess Law. Or put red paint on a select ball.
Only if you can create fire. Rumor has it that's how the actual first PA system started in Lipa FC. Fire was created, and they used the leftover cups for the Bear, Lance McGarvey, to be able to communicate with the entire rest of the stadium. He was put his hands around the cups, and with his deep bellowing voice, that's how he got out all the information on the PA system. So many moons ago. We've come a long way since then.
All the way back to Sharpie. This is going to skip out. I think Devin already answered tonight's trivia, brought to you by Tony's Break and Alignment. It was young Lance McGarvey who tweeted in response to the question, quote, "I was just a boy, but we gave him redacted that day." And no, Lynn Family Stadium is not named for Loretta Lynn. But multi-gold record caliber singer-songwriter. Harris.
Oh, he's in.
Dia still alive. Del Piccolo for Bone. A duo of sliding Indy 11 players, Cochran and Brown. The late disruption.
Surprised Amadou Dia didn't get this off. This is where you don't trust yourself, and you're a little bit worried to hit it first time. He lets it come across his body. If he hits this with his right foot, you can put it on frame. And guess who pops up here? Sam Brown. Just talked about him. What a recovery defensively. Little assist from A.J. Cochran.
5-5 corner. Toast! Tucked in, locked in, Louisville level.
Spark may come up top, but the old guard arises to the challenge once again. The captain, Del Piccolo, on at half. The leader, Sean Tosh, asserted back into the lineup. These are the performances, the moments that you look to if you're Danny Cruz trying to find a spark. Yeah, you get a little bit lucky. Panico doesn't get all of it. Deflects right down the middle. An absolute no-no. But who makes them pay? Mr. Louisville, the title winner. First goal since August 30th of 2020. Welcome back.
Appearance number 201 in the championship. It's just a hair past Del Piccolo. That goal presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. The Kentucky Lottery. Well, Louisville so infrequently concedes first on their home ground, and now Indy, who, to their credit, despite the lack of scoring early, have remained defensively sturdy. Ownby, too much on Timmer there. Been a difficult team to break under Mark Lowry.
How much praise did we give Elliot Panico as well? You know, it's unfortunate for the goalkeeper. To be fair, there's plenty of bodies in front of him. Very difficult to get a steady hand on it, and it looked like as he came out, just lost his footing a tiny touch, because normally when he comes with a vengeance. And that's a punch, one-handed or two away. Remove the threat, not the case. Gets half a paw on it, spills it. And Sean Tosh is right there on the doorstep.
Devin, we've seen Tosh in Rochester and coming into Louisville. And is there any more anticlimactic a celebration than retucking in your shirt?
Well, you know, I actually thought it was a little rude that he decided not to give us the celebratory single goal of a season last year.
True
He
enough.
has one running every single year. All of a sudden, 2020, he's out, and you got to remove his name from the Golden Boot race.
Yeah. Mushagalusa zigzags around Fjeldberg. Ownby. Early ball. Panico got a piece, falls out. Lobbing. Bone. Couldn't catch Panico. No panic in Elliott getting back to the goal line.
There's the crash on the near post again, though. The first time, it was just inside the 6-yard box. This time, it's right on point. Great run by Wilson Harris. There is the pressure from the goalkeeper, and your outside back, Jared Timmer, comes all the way back across. This is mounting right now. This is wave after wave of purple shirts coming forward. Got to slow it down if you're Indy.
Dia for Harris for Del Piccolo. Ricochet, Ownby. If you're Indy, it's easy to say great first half, and it felt like they owned the large portion of that first half with the pressure that they put on. How much are you changing that right now, because the last 5 to 10 minutes haven't gone according to script?
When you get into situations like this, the start of the half, the goal is given up, your blueprint worked so well. The only issue is right now is momentum. You have to try to find a kill the game off a little bit. And I'm not saying go into your shell and sit back, because defensively it was working. The two issues right now, Louisville's using the width almost to perfection. That's because the midfield's been flat down and they're chasing too much. There's also a bit of a lethargic state in how they're playing. When the ball comes in right now, try and find an immediate outlet. You keep it too long, the decision-making isn't as crisp as it was in the first half. It's turned over. Now watch the recover or lack thereof defensively. This is why Lou City right now is having success. When the ball's given away, they're countering quickly, and Indy hasn't been tracking it back as efficiently in the opening 45.
Rebellon. Easy for Bone. Wilson Harris. Peels both ways. Belongs to Indy. Let's tell you, if you can't watch the match, turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights at 7 Eastern, plus your live matches from the USL, MLS, English Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 in the Sirius XM app. Ownby dice that in for Wilson Harris. Panico. Who called that soccer talk on All Access engaging?
Was that a word used?
It was.
Wow. Cheers.
This will fall for Harris. Harris leans back Del Piccolo. There's 4 purple shirts in this attack alongside Mushagalusa, who lost it. Referee says play on. Mushagalusa, Del Piccolo, Ownby. Picked up Masoso. Attack continues. Perez. And headed out. That was probably going by its lonesome. 5-5 corner coming.
He also probably couldn't hear it because of the fans right there in front of the net. Better safe than sorry, Mike, because this ball's coming back over really dangerous, and he can't hear the shouts from Panico. I do the same exact thing. Knock it over, reset yourself, get your bearings, and then get back to battle.
The corner, Panico wipes that away.
There's that shape. Notice how flat the middle got just then. Sam Brown steps up. Got to be real careful because you lose your depth, and then all of a sudden you create distinct lines. Real easy for the midfield to slide in between.
Mushagalusa unimpeded. Panico.
That was the scouting report that Lou City and the entire staff were most enticed about, is when you could lure the midfield a little bit higher, find a way to flatten out the interior. A la Fjellberg, Ingram, Brown, any one of those 3. If it becomes flat with the 2, you find levels within it, especially when you have more room to work with. That's when you can get Harris to drop in, Del Piccolo can step up through, and you create levels to it, Mike. It's stepping stones for the offense instead of the linear thoughts we saw in the first half.
Mushagalusa not going to get that whistle. Sort of swinging his arm back and forth to draw some eyeballs, I guess. Sharpie. Tosh. Bone. Dissecting ahead. Flicked on by Del Piccolo. Celebrating its 75th anniversary, Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. Choose what you play with at SelectSportAmerica.com. Select Leagues Choice, Players Choice. after all these years, they changed the select read. All to be put in play here for Indy. 63rd minute. Pino in the 22nd. Tosh in the 53rd. Indy looking for their first point of the year. Louisville trying to keep their perfect start on go. 3 wins from 3 games, including on a cold, rainy Wednesday night in Montclair. Tosh. Panico. Louisville's pressure seemingly abating for a moment. Tosh went in, stays with Indy. 8,551 in attendance. Briggs back to his feet. Rebellon.
Notice how much less Briggs has been able to see the ball, switching into the back 4 after Louisville City started with the 3 and wingback system. Solar moving up into the middle, almost one-on-one defending at times, but a good job by Napo Masoso, really releasing the defensive shape of Lou City, shutting down the outlet balls into the 2 striking system up top for Indy 11. When it has found him, too much pressure.
Ownby curling in off the backside. Jerome, right place, right time. And a foul. I'd guess Napo Masoso just said how.
Starts with a really good challenge on one end by Meshach Jerome coming off the back line. Brian Ownby was right there. And as it comes back up through the middle, I was kind of with Napo Masoso upon first glance that he did enough on the initial contact where it was ball then player. Referee didn't agree.
Didn't get hit quite right. Brown. Player down for Indy 11. Play continues through Harris. Jerome coming out to meet him. Mushagalusa. Mushagalusa. Sent that swerving in.
Still down 2.
And this is going to get thrown out by Panico. Let's keep an eye on Brown. The athletic trainer's been called out to look.
Let's go back to the Masoso challenge first. That angle's a little different, isn't it?
Yeah, step apparently right on the end of the foot.
You know, you turn things to the side. All of a sudden, you can't look through one eye anymore. How about the second one? The reason that we're experiencing the stoppage of plays the trainers attend to. Sam Brown, Brian Ownby. Little pressure. Jared Timmer, Del Piccolo in back, and right there it was, Corbin Bone getting tangled up. No whistle blown on the midfielder.
Dev, favorite Lip FC moment of all time? Anything
Of all
come to
time?
mind? Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, it's more so a game than a moment.
Sure.
So maybe that's a difficult one, I guess. Is that a difficult one?
Sure.
C'est difficile, mon ami. I believe it was the 2019 1-1 game at Lucas Oil, Del Piccolo's free kick.
Oh, that's recent.
Sorry. Some of the matchups that have taken place, I can't talk about. That was the Wild West. Right? Wagon wheels from hundreds of miles. At a point in time, food shortages, couldn't even get water, and yet we found a way to continue the contest on. I didn't know we were allowed to bring that up.
It's wild that one time they met in the middle in a cow pasture.
It's wild for the kit man.
Wild for the cows.
The laundry lasted a year.
Dia. Away from Jerome, picked up by Panico. Joella's Hot Chicken is serving up just the right amount of spice with a heaping side of Southern hospitality. With 6 heat levels to choose from, Joella's Hot Chicken isn't just about heat, it's about flavor.
Oh, there it is, June 29th.
The cow pasture or the Del Piccolo
June
goal?
29th, 2019. Tyler Pasher in the 9th minute. Del Piccolo in the 55th. Remember, it was on the right side, curling back across. Only 7 cards in that game. They undercut it, the average. Surprising. 10,584 at Lucas Oil. That team in 2019 was quick.
Special.
The ball moved from A to B. I believe the word is rapidly. That's what the kids are telling me. They had drip.
Over to Bone. So for Del Piccolo. Ownby. That's a goal kick.
How about you?
Favorite moment?
We just discussed a few, near and far.
Sure. I mean, obviously the cow pasture game.
Yeah.
But also the Eastern Conference final is difficult to beat.
It does bring back memories.
And, you know, I remember speaking shortly thereafter with Martin Rennie about the idea that that moment, if it passes you by, it's so difficult to attain that position again. And ultimately, they didn't. And one wonders how different things could have been for Indy 11 in 2020.
You could say that for a lot of teams given the pandemic.
Correct. But it carries over into 2021, and the window that seemed wide open in 2019 been slammed in their face before they even knew it was gone. But it was a spectacular 120 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
As David Bowie would say, changes on the way. Comes over to Masoso. Musha Galusa. Push, not enough. Out for a goal kick. Indy 11 ready to move to their bench here, Dev.
The debut of the recent acquisition, it will be Rodney Michael. Just signed on Tuesday, coming over from South Georgia Tormenta. UC Santa Barbara boy. A lot of people talked about this kid, Mike, at the start of 21 for the draft, that he was going to get an opportunity to go drafted. It didn't happen. Actually, a trialist under Bob Lilly. Declined the option. All Big West a couple of times. That's the freshman of the year back in 2017. He's got the pace. Man, native from Sierra Leone, and you can use him out on the wing. You can play him in the 9. He's comfortable in the 2-striker system. It's a quality pickup for Mark Lowry in Indy 11.
Ownby, can he get there? He's overzealous. That's a foul. And it's the latest dip into League One for Indy 11. Few teams have been as ambitious in the transfer market with League One than the Indy 11 organization.
I've been very impressed tonight, by the way, with the pace of Jared Timmer, his ability to keep up with Brian Ownby. Not an easy ask, and would say even more so that it's actually the angles game that he's been able to play. Understanding it's the first touch of Brian Ownby that always gets you. He's so good of putting that ball the appropriate distance out in front of himself, which can lure a defender in, almost bait him to come and challenge. But instead, Timmer's actually backed off at the right times. He's challenged in specific situations. Really good 1v1 tonight against Brian Ownby.
Ingram trying to work off Law. Slide in there to keep it alive for Brown. Taken back by Perez. And Perez hampered with 15 or so minutes to go in this one. Is there a winner tonight? Indy grabbed the lead in the 22nd minute by the recently relieved Stefano Pino. Sean Tosh responded in the 53rd. The momentum that felt so intense for Louisville at the time is dissipated. 75th minute, so fans head to Twitter to vote on tonight's Lynn Family Sports Vision and Training Man of the Match. Poll open for the next 10 minutes. Vote now, twitter.com/LouCityFC. Michael. Louisville staring down the barrel of a game at Birmingham and then hosting Chattanooga in the Open Cup. Indy 11, pretty odd schedule, all things considered. They'll host LA and then host the Open Cup against St. Louis City too. And they'll go away to RGV, where they'll get all the sights and sounds of that epic drive in. Try not to get too excited. All those matches available on ESPN Plus. Don't miss a minute of the action in 2022, whether your club is on the road or at home. Nearly every second of the USL Championship season is on ESPN Plus, the home to USL, MLS, La Liga, Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up, plus.espn.com. Brickyard Battalion, where you go, we will follow. Made the couple-hour trek to Louisville. Attempt to hold this up from Wilson Harris. Got a real taste of Indy 11 and Louisville during his time at Kansas City in these pandemic-altered schedules. Ownby, can he get there? Panico. Mexico and Orange County have finished level. Devin, Orange County getting in that one late.
Special thanks to Lonowski. 2 weeks running, huh? Added extra time goals for the champions. Colorado Springs, Misha Galina, welcome to 2022. Happy to have him back. One of the stranger goals you'll see this season, by the way. Go check out Jake LaCava's equalizer in the first half, coming off Connor McGlynn. Game of he said, she said, 25 yards out that chips the goalkeeper. Any late game that you feel like you should keep your eye on? Obviously the Phoenix San Diego. For me, that's kind of everything, to be honest, but.
Well, you are calling it.
No, not even that. I mean, that's the main reason, but.
that would be the one, although Oakland Monterey Bay, I think, could be a bit of a measuring stick.
I was just about to say that's interesting for me too. You know, first year for Monterey Bay, Frank Yalla trying to get those guys going. Was it 7 or 8 on the road to start the season till their stadium's ready to go? Oakland Roots, second year, first year head coach coming over from Phoenix Rising, Juan Guerra. He's bought into the culture and gotten a lot of people to follow so far. But Las Vegas Lights hosting 901 FC. Vegas doing some nice things recently, showed the 9-goal midweek against El Paso Locomotive, but they've now taken down El Paso Locomotive, Phoenix Rising in back-to-back games. That's not normally a sentence that I ever thought I would have heard myself say.
No.
With all due respect to that organization. But good on them. Good for them.
By the way, Devin, I mentioned a moment ago about how Wilson Harris, really familiar to these clubs. I mean, they played against Kansas City 4 times back in 2020 in that divisional format. Get to that in a moment. Whoa, Perez kept that going. Harris was the target. Reload for Louisville. Ownby. Cleared again. Bone. Ownby. Corner. There are 4 players in Indy 11 history who have scored 5 or more goals against the club. Corbin Bone, Wilson Harris, Christian Ramirez, and Stefano Pino. 9 goals, most all time, and he's the one who scored tonight. For Indy, now on a friendly side of the docket. Can Harris or Bone be the answer now? Dia for Tosh. And away by Fjellberg. Ooh, clever. Perez. Mushagalusa. Ownby. Rising up, Tosh.
Harris wanted this ball. He asked for it earlier, didn't come, and good second option on the pickup by Sean Tosh all the way to the backside. Team's hit a little lull here in terms of quality. Little change. Rodney Michael comes to the right side of the midfield diamond for Indy 11. Fjellberg has pushed himself up top. There's some more of the interchange that I talked about within this great system that can be, if you can be well versed in it, understand where the rotation comes from under Mark Lowry. Easily the best that they've put in so far this season. Still work to be done here. Just waiting for the response from Louisville. Haven't seen one yet after the change.
Mushagalusa flicks ahead. Dia tried to put that off the outside of his boot. This is out for a corner. There was no foul. Louisville protecting a 7-game home win streak, their longest since August and September of 2020. There's a skirmish reminiscent of Lipa FC's past.
Thought the ball should have come a little quicker here from Mushagalusa as the run was made by Amadou Dia. Great invert, takes an extra touch. That recognition will come with time. Well done on Dia to come back across it, and you got to feel for Sam Brown here. There's a lot of contact. Referee doesn't call it. And then Amadou Dia trying to posterize the midfielder. The sights and sounds of Lipa FC in full effect.
Dia's first taste of it, and Brown too. 83rd minute, Wi-Fi corner. Delivery, header toward the line. Tosh! Deflected. It hit the crossbar and appeared to stay out. An uproarious effect from the crowd of over 8,500. Bia. Panico. Tough fall.
This is really close. Really close. Shouts from the sideline. In utter angst. What a ball whipped in by Corbin Ball. This is teasing. Del Piccolo, is it in? Well, I tell you, that's about as close as it comes. The substitute, Rodney Michael, down underneath. That looks to be across the line. Hard to tell from the angle. He undercuts it. Del Piccolo beats him. It's headed in. Obviously, aftermath. Hits the crossbar. Dominoes out. From the view that we have, Mike, you see this come. Watch the player. You can't definitively say from where we're at that it's in or out.
Right.
We just can't say it. Your brain tells you, yes, it's in. That's also a depth perception thing. The mind sees it heading in a certain direction, and you think that it's going to end up in the back of the net. But we just don't have the look at it.
There's a good chance there's a photographer with a goal-worthy photo, if it should exist, standing near this field, but that won't be decisive either. Brian Ownby has picked up a yellow card for that crash a moment ago. Danny Cruz arguing with the fourth official here.
You can take one more look before we turn the page here in the final 5 minutes of Lipa FC, the first one of 2022. Ball in. Del Piccolo rises. Panico for the second time tonight, by the way. Not a good look in the box. The captain gets a touch. Where does it bounce? Yeah, to me, again, and here's the thing. Even on the bounce, which is basically right on the line, and even though it looks to be heading in, you can't tell that the whole ball is across, Mike.
No.
It's really close.
If those are the angles you have, I don't think even VAR would, I would assume, stay as called on the field one way or the other.
If those are the angles, that's the key word, right? If.
Masoso goes down hard. That's Rodney Michael. It appeared involved in that. Card's gone up to Briggs. The second most well-traveled Briggs in all the USL Championship.
Speaking of, they got a big battle tomorrow night.
Sacramento.
Mark Briggs, Sacramento Republic. New look. FC Tulsa. Dangerous midweek. It's a long travel on short rest for the Tulsa boys. With a couple of minutes to go here. New City feel a little bit hard done. You almost feel like Indy's kind of grasping to the game, Mike. A lot of chasing over the last 15 minutes, and even though there have been some lulls, most of the time has been spent in their own defensive half, trying to track down these Lou City runs. Much more threatening in the second portion of this match.
Carl Ouimet's coming in. Signal that Indy's prepared to try and see out a potential draw down the line, bring in a defender, but perhaps equally importantly, talking a big guy on set pieces and aerial balls. Two and a half minutes plus stoppage remain. Ownby. Perez. Now Law. Spread out to Ownby. Ownby delivers. Skies up. Mushagalusa reads the bounce. Kept it in and lost his footing. A couple times that's happened to him. He's just lost his edge. Michael. Dia. Foul, free kick. And a yellow card to Dia as well.
The severity of the tackle isn't the main reason for the card. It's persistent infringement, as he's been involved a couple of times. Michael stop-start. The tackle itself is actually pretty good because he gets the ball. The problem is that restricted position. You know how I feel about this, Mike. I don't agree with it as an individual. It's just in the rule book. You go to ground, you get the ball, but it creates such a problem for the player because your view is obstructed. You can't see from what's coming from behind, so it's dangerous. And how about Lowry? A couple of minutes to go here, looking for that point, their first of the season, pulling off the attacking option in Fjellberg and bringing on Carl Ouimet to solidify this back line with moments to go.
This is the 34th game at Lynn Family Stadium. Louisville is 124, lost 6, drawn 3. They have never won in this venue when they've conceded first, 0, 6, and 3. Ouimet comes on, Fjellberg comes off, and Ouimet is a real target for Law here. And there's likely to be a significant amount of stoppage time. Law, pretty ball. Sought Ouimet. It's a goal kick. I bet Law is a bit shocked. Well, now it's a late whistle, and I think this is the right call, a corner. Stoppage time presented by Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. 6 added minutes. 6. It's not the 27 from back in 1947, but ball across, headed out. Ouimet the target once more. Danger, lost by Masoso. And taken right back by Bone. Masoso. Mushagalusa. 4 white shirts, Devin, in the attacking half, pressing this high.
And yet, nothing came of it. All right, some tired legs there. Coming back up through for Indy 11. Louisville will be much more direct as the game continues to close itself out here because they will press and they'll push the tempo, knowing that the facts are right there. They've done a much better job, as I mentioned, of using the full girth of this field. The problem is they haven't been able to get anybody on the end of the service coming in.
Sharpie. Turns down Dia, reverses for the Louisville goal scorer, Sean Tosh. That was all the way back in the 53rd minute. Ownby sizing up Law. Ownby cranks this into the stands. Tonight's Lynn Family Sports Vision and Training Man of the Match for Louisville City is Sean Tosh, the goal scorer in the 53rd. Tucked in, locked in. He got his goal for this year, so everybody back off.
Yeah, you can comment. Got the contract bonus. Expectation was not met in 2021. The goal a year average, 5 on the professional career.
Tosh taking this all the way to the end line. That's where he's far more valuable. Just crossing the 200 appearance plateau in New Jersey on Wednesday night. Paolo Del Piccolo hitting 200 league appearances today. And the captain helped Louisville back from their halftime deficit. Not the best there, so Timmer took it away, plays it over the touchline. Perez. Dia. Sharpie. Louisville has won 7 straight matches at home. Their conversation this week, can you finish the big chances? They have scored a second-half goal for the 8th consecutive home game. They need one more here or their perfect start up in smoke. 3 wins from 3 games, looking to equal their best start to a season in franchise history. Indy looking for a priceless away point. The road-weary Indy 11 against their biggest rival, Bushagalusa, against a trio of white shirts. Can Harris collect? He can't. Is that a handball from Law? Here we go.
That creates order, doesn't it? Everybody lined it up. Left foot, right foot. See if you can march your way to victory here. A little shout on the backside for Bushagalusa. They're trying to switch him towards the front portion, but he can't hear. They're still yelling. He can't hear him.
It'll be Bone or Dia. Bone steps over. Dia drives. Came off of Tosh. Indy's going to make a change here. Palmer Alt comes into the game. Slated to be a Butler Bulldog. Signed his academy deal in January. The 18-year-old from Noblesville, Indiana. Replaces Briggs. Sub brought to you by MHS Global.
Just get it over with, Mark Lowry says. Kill it off. The last seconds remaining for the illustrious rivalry that is Lipa FC between Lou City, Indy 11. Indy got out in front. Stayed out there for a while. That carrot continued to dangle. Masterclass performance tactically in the first half. You question whether the 3 center backs to start the game was the right move. You never know if it's different personnel. They couldn't get into the game quick enough, Lou City. You make the change. A couple of minutes to go before halftime, things start to turn for you, and then you get your goal, and they've been running ever since.
Header away, and there is full time. Indy's off the schneid, and they've done it against their biggest rival on the road. Mark Lowry's first point as the manager at Indy 11, and Louisville, while unbeaten to start their season, dropped points for the first time in a comeback effort. Dev, let's take a look at tonight's Toyota move of the game. Toyota, let's go places.
Quiet in terms of the left-sided attack for Indy 11. Nicky Law got a couple of looks, but defensively, this was the early challenge. One-on-one, would love to see that matchup if you get it. Manny Perez, sorry about you. Second time. Third time wasn't a charm, but you see the quick feet and why Lou City went and got him in the offseason. He's got great vision, not clouded at all. Doesn't end up in a goal, and I'm sure there's beautiful things to come down the right flank for Lou City.
all things considered, a somewhat nondescript draw in the history of Lipa FC. Tonight's final score is brought to you by Gorski Law Office. The fans from Indy have something to celebrate. They get a draw on the road, finishes 1-1 post-game after these messages.
It all starts with a smile. To show you care, offer a sign of love, welcome someone home. Even when we don't see each other, or share a room, even without words, smiles bring us together. Let's keep yours healthy. Mortensen Family Dental. Schedule online at mortensondental.com.
Did you know Toyota actually spends $1 million every hour of every day on R&D?
It's all part of an even larger $30 billion investment to design and build vehicles in the USA.
Made in America means something to Toyota, like 176,000 jobs and over 30 million Toyotas built right here in the USA.
And for over 20 years, Toyota's electrified vehicles have been leading the way towards a better tomorrow.
The more you know, the more you'll drive Toyota.
Let's go places.
Imagine your bright career when you join the U of L Health Team. Now, imagine receiving free tuition to the University of Louisville. At U of L Health, we believe in investing in you and the power of education. So now, your U of L Health family has college tuition covered for all employees and their families. Just imagine the possibilities. That's the power of you.
Fans will hit the road here in Louisville, and this postgame is presented to you by the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety. Mark Lowry, pat to the badge. A 1-1 draw between Indy and Louisville. Dev, let's take a look at the full-time highlights. We start in the 22nd minute with Indy's opening goal.
Here comes the pressure. The high line of Nicky Law starts to come, but it's the bad ball play through the middle. Then all of a sudden off to the races. Jonas Feldberg, head up. And even though the first ball doesn't come through, this is what you want. When the ball's given away, everybody else has tracked with them. So Justin Ingram does a good job in the 10. He comes from up from behind. He locks down the center of the field, and everybody has to rotate quickly all the way to the other side. Well done by Sam Brown to quickly get this to the outside. Nicky Law, pull back, pick out the back post. Pino, pick out the back of the net.
9 goals against Indy on the score sheet now for Indy. 53rd minute, Sean Tosh, the equalizer.
August of 2020. It's hard to believe that given everything that he does for this club, A, it's only 1 goal a year, and B, it's the only goal since 2020 that man scores. But this organization, bigger than any one person, Tosh off the back line, he gets the equalizer. Lou City felt like they had some momentum. They continue to apply the pressure. And the controversy, is it over? Del Piccolo rises. Panico cut off guard again. Is it over the line? Referee says no. Can't tell from our angle. Can't call it a goal. Instead, everybody ends up with a point. A fitting end, to be fair. Both of these teams probably deserved better at certain portions of the game. But given the tendencies that we saw, given the fluctuations in play that was so up and down, each deserved a point.
River City Flooring full-time match stats. Dev, chance for a final thought on what we took away from this, particularly for a Louisville side who dropped points for the first time.
Slow start for Lou City. It's the first we saw this season. It is something we did see regularly in 2021. Hope it's not the ghosts of seasons past. Hats off to Indy 11. This is the first time this season that Indy 11 has looked dangerous, that they look like a team that could make some noise in the Eastern Conference. I told you coming in, Indy 11 fans, it's going to take time. Recognize that they did this on the road against a perennial favorite in Lou City, short-handed because of injuries in international duty. This is a great point for the opposition.
Well, it's been real and it's been fun. Par for the course in Lip FC. That dinosaur got multiple goals. Pino with his head, and ironically, Tosh with his feet. Louisville 1, Indy 11 1 at full time. For our entire Vista WorldLink crew, led by producer Ava Ponte and director Red Osejo, Dean Nevins, Devin Kerr alongside Mike Watts saying thanks for watching the Louisville Indianapolis Proximity Association football contest.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.